Last night's game started on Friday and resumed after nearly 5 hours of rain delays, when the Rays scored the game's first run on Saturday en route to a 9-2 win. Now, less than 12 hours later, the two teams square off again. And Ubaldo Jimenez looks to get June off on the right foot for the Indians next on Sports Time Ohio. From Progressive Field in downtown Cleveland, it's Indians baseball today. Game 2 of a 3-game weekend series between the Tribe and the Tampa Bay Rays. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Tribe waited a long time last night, and in the end, they got kicked in the teeth. Lost 9-2. So you put that one behind you as quickly as possible. Turn toward today, and Ubaldo Jimenez, who looked like he bounced back from a poor start his previous time out, pitched very well against the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, treat this like a doubleheader and win the second game, because they're starting it again, and Ubaldo has the opportunity. Pitched a very good game in Cincinnati where he went 7 innings, kept his team in the ball game. They didn't get the win, but he had very good off-speed pitches, and he has pitched well in his career against the Tampa Bay Rays. So if he can come out there, keep him, hold him down for a little while, 2-1 in his career, will be matched up against Chris Archer, who is a former 5th-round pick for the Cleveland Indians. And he's going to get an opportunity to come back in his organization, so we'll see how he fares.
All right, so that's the matchup for this afternoon. We'll be back with the play-by-play action coming up next. Polish your lenses. Get ready for Tribe Tampa baseball. Ubaldo Jimenez going to try to slow down the Rays' offensive attack. Meanwhile, the Indians look to get back on the winning track next on Sports Time Ohio. Now we welcome you into Progressive Field for Game 2 of this 3-game series. Tribe and the Rays, Tampa winning last night in the wee hours of the morning. And now we're right back at it here today as the Tribe takes the field behind right-hander Ubaldo Jimenez. Joe Maddon's starting lineup today for the Tampa Bay Rays looks like this. Matt Joyce, who homered last night in the leadoff spot. Kelly Johnson bats second. Evan Longoria third. James Loney, a 2-homer performance last night, bats cleanup. Then Desmond Jennings, followed by Luke Scott. Then Ryan Roberts, Jose Molina, and Yunel Escobar.
Ubaldo Jimenez on the mound for the Indians, his 11th start this year. 500 record, he's 3-3 and a 5.57. His last 3 starts, he's been 0-1 and an ERA of over 5. The previous 3 before those, he was 3-0 and a 1.45. And he's coming off a good game in Cincinnati where he pitched 7 innings. He gave up 4 hits and just a couple of runs. That was a no decision for him. He left the ball game tied at 2. We'll see what he has for Tampa Bay in his career, 2-1 against the Rays. Let's check the Kia Indians defense behind Jimenez. It's going to be Brantley on left, Bourne in center, Stubbs is in right. Aviles gets a start at third today. Cabrera at short, Kipnis at second, Swisher at first, Santana back behind the plate.
Ryan Onora calling the balls and strikes. Bill Welke at first, Adrian Johnson at second, the crew chief Fielding Culbreth down at third. Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, going over things with Joe Maddon, the Tampa manager. Manager told his guys, just be here on time today. That's it. I'll post the lineup. He didn't want his guys here too early. Said, I want to see bags of McDonald's on the bench. Just guys showing up, tying their shoes, getting ready, and go get them. Well, let's see if the Indians can get Jimenez deep into the game and if the Tribe can get some runs early this afternoon.
Is like a split doubleheader, really. About as much time as after they left. You come right back and you've got another one. So here we are.
Matt Joyce steps in. 1 for 4 with the home run last night. And that homer ignited Tampa's 5-run inning following the final rain delay of the night. The 1-0 pitch. Outside, 2-0. There's a called strike. Jimenez did walk 4 his last time out, 1 shy of a season high. Other than that, he was dynamite against Cincinnati.
Jimenez this year at home, he hasn't fared well. 1-3 record, an ERA of over 10. It was total opposite last year. He had a tough time on the road. Was better at home.
Well, he walks the leadoff man. With more on Ubaldo Jimenez, here's Katie Witham.
Well, Matt, Ubaldo Jimenez started throwing a cutter about a week and a half ago, actually when Scott Kazmir did. His four-seam fastball, Mickey Callaway told me, has a tendency to run a lot. So the cutter gives him a pitch that doesn't leak back over the plate. And it's also something he can use on days when his fastball command just doesn't feel as sharp, guys.
All right, thanks, Katie. Here's Kelly Johnson, 0 for 2 last night. He walked twice, struck out twice. Rick mentioned the tough time Jimenez has had at home this year. His three losses at home have come against New York, Boston, and Detroit. And all 3 have had his number. New York and Boston both touched him for 7 runs, and Detroit got him for 6.
Well, it's been a couple of days since he's been behind the plate, and what happens? The second hitter of the game, he gets one off the inside of the foot.
He keeps exposing that leg. He's going to keep getting hit.
Well, he did expose the leg, but it looked like it got him in the foot, his right foot.
Tossed first, back with a dive is Joyce.
I was just thinking, Tampa not a team that runs a lot. They're 10th in the league. They have stolen 25 bases. They've been caught 13 times. But I would think that maybe he would start him with Jimenez on the mound, and this is a guy you can run on.
Here's a fly ball to center field. Michael Bourne has it measured and makes the catch, one away. Joyce back to first. Now Evan Longoria coming to the plate. Evan Longoria, 1 for 5 last night, had an RBI double in that 5-run inning for Tampa. After the game, Longoria tweeted out a sincere thanks to each and every fan that stuck around to watch that game. You all made it fun. Cleveland rocks. There were a lot of folks who stuck around through 4.5 hours plus of rain delays.
Yeah, it really surprised me that there were people still sitting in the seats after 2:30 in the morning. Because I'll be the first to tell you, I wouldn't have been here if I was at that game with all the delays.
Way past your bedtime. But you were here.
Well, I was talking in my sleep. You didn't hear me. I don't remember.
2-1 to count on Longoria. Jimenez turns, fires to first. Back with the dive goes Joyce. Two-1 is in for a strike. Longoria turned away as if he wanted to swing at it, but just couldn't pull the trigger. And on the other end, Joyce looked like he took a couple of steps towards second base, but then stopped. Maybe couldn't get a good footing. I don't know. Both players seem to be caught in between.
I don't know if you wanted to steal actually with this guy at the plate because he's, especially with the count in his favor.
There goes the runner. The 2-2 is hit high in the air. Right field, Drew Stubbs. And there are 2 down. So Joe Madden wanted to get the runner moving, but Longoria unable to do anything with it. James Loney coming up now, 2 for 5, couple of home runs. Well, looking back to what happened last night, almost 2 hours delayed at the outset. And we played for a little while, delayed for briefly. Played even more briefly, and then another long rain delay. Restarted after midnight. Played almost a 3-hour game. It was just a long, long night at the ballpark. And a lot of folks were wondering, myself included, why. The Indians letting their fans know that there were a lot of different reasons, circumstances that led to last night's lengthy delays and sitting around waiting. One of the key elements going into play was the fact that looking for a future date down the road to make up a game without affecting the collective bargaining agreement was very difficult to do. So we waited and played, and Tampa won. Indians coming to bat. Dribble Cabrera, Nick Swisher, Jason Giambi, Carlos Santana, Michael Brantley, Micah Vilas, Drew Stubbs for Terry Francona. Starting lineup brought to you by Progressive, making it easy to bundle your home and car insurance.
Chris Archer making the start, just getting called up, and his numbers are from AAA down in Durham, 5-3 after 10 starts, a 3.96 ERA. He was drafted by the Indians, so this is the first time he's going to be able to pitch against his former team. And this guy has a pretty good arm, 95 miles per hour on his fastball, has very good stuff. Well, we'll see it as the game goes on. Let's set the defense behind Archer today. It'll be Johnson in left, Jennings in center, Joyce in right. Longoria and Escobar on the left side. Roberts, Loney on the right side of the infield with Molina behind the plate.
Won't have any trouble finding Jose Molina behind the plate today.
Oh, with that color, you're right. The catcher's gear.
Chris Archer's first pitch of the ballgame is in there for a called strike. Archer, 24 years old. The last time he was here at Progressive Field was back in 06 when he was a fifth-round pick of the Tribe, and he signed his first professional baseball contract. He got to watch the Indians take batting practice, and he and his dad sat here in the ballpark and watched the Indians play. This is where he always envisioned himself playing professionally, and I think that's the way it is for every baseball player. When you're drafted by a club, that's where you envision yourself playing. So for him, he said, to come back and actually play on the other side in your major league debut, he said it's pretty cool, just to maybe show them what they're missing out on.
Just like every other player feels.
Bourne, a liner to right. Back goes Joyce. He makes the grab, one down. Chris Archer is already the fourth member of the AAA Durham rotation to be called up. Jake Odorizzi, Alex Torres, Alex Colome, of which young Archer says that's pretty awesome, really. You know, you always know you need 7, 8 or so starting pitchers,
and you do
during a season. But he said to think we've used this many already, and here it is the 1st of June, and to use them effectively, he said that's pretty cool.
Well, you go down there with a purpose. And you know, when you come out of spring training with the hopes of making the Rays staff is probably slim. But you get down there, you get a work plan. If you have injuries, and the big boy David Price is hurt, that happens.
Well, the big thing for Chris Archer, he said, was that he had to work on the command of his fastball and utilizing his changeup and working on the running game. So he said those were all things that he worked on during his time at Durham. His only problem this year at AAA was that hitters sometimes took batting practice off of him. He had back-to-back starts. One, he took one right off the shin. The next time, he took one off the opposite hip. So those were a couple of serious bruises that he had to navigate his way through. 0-2 the count on Asdrubal Cabrera. He went 5-3 with a 3.96 ERA in those 10 starts at Durham. Fastball runs outside. No 1-2 to Cabrera. A little bit low with it. Crazy. The Indians on this homestand. It's only 3 games long thus far, but they've hit 158 with less than 2 outs, and over 300 with 2 outs. Of course, last night they only had 1 hit, period. They go 1-2-3 here in the first, and we are scoreless after 1. McWrap. Try one today. And by Kia. Desmond Jennings will lead off the second inning for Tampa. First pitch swinging, bounces one to third. Mike Aviles takes care of that one down. Mike Aviles making his 9th start this year at third base. He started 6 games at second, 6 at short, 2 in left field. So he has truly been a versatile utility man.
Bounce around. That's the way to do it.
That's going to bring up Luke Scott as the Indians put on the old infield shift. 3 to the right side. Avila stays over on the left. Scott was 0 for 3 last night. He's going to beat the shift with a bunt. And a 1-out base runner around for Tampa here in the second.
Well, why not? They should. Next time they'll be up until he gets maybe 1 strike, and then they'll move back. Ubaldo kicked it. He was going to go over there, so he's not going to make a play. I don't think he would have had a chance anyway. So an infield single, first hit of the ball game.
One on, 1 out for Ryan Roberts. Outside of Matt Latos of Cincinnati, there might not be a more tattooed player than Ryan Roberts. Runner goes. Chop to third. Aviles goes to second anyway. They get the force there. Throw to first, too high. And the ball goes into the dugout.
Well, I don't know if it slipped out of his hand, but the runner got down on him, and Aviles, he threw to second anyway. They get the lead runner. This happened to Kipnis again, and the runner is going to come up after his slide, and it affects the throw. See, he comes up. The same thing happened to Jason, if you remember, except the ball hit the screening, where a guy didn't slide at second base, and he didn't go around. I'll tell you what, the runners better start getting down, and he's going to have to start throwing it at him. But this guy was already in a slide and coming back up, so Aviles did get the lead guy. And then there'll be an error on the throw.
Jose Molina hitting .247 with a homer and 7 runs batted in. Two and one. Molina riding an 8-game hitting streak. He has gone 12 for 24 during his tear with 4 doubles. And what's interesting, and this is how baseball can go sometimes, talk about pillar to post, he was in an 0 for 22 stretch.
Before this started,
he started the streak.
Well, that's what you try to do throughout the course of the year as a player, is minimize the slumps.
Molina strikes out here. That's the first K for Jimenez. We are scoreless, middle of the second. Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, why Terry Francona appreciates managing in Cleveland. The most recent episode of Sports A to Z. And all about Arrows third baseman Giovanni Urshela. Complete coverage of all today's action involving Ohio sports on FoxSportsOhio.com. For the Tribe, Nick Swisher, Jason Giambi, and Carlos Santana duo. Swisher 0 for 2 with a walk last night. Fouled back out of play. Some professional athletes reach heights within their own profession that make them seem like they're not human. That they almost seemingly never make big mistakes, and no record is seemingly untouchable for them. But then every once in a while, they slip on the old proverbial banana peel, and you remember that they are, after all, in fact, human. Tiger Woods, the highest 9-hole score in his professional career.
Today?
8 over 44 on the back 9 at Muirfield Village.
Human.
How about that, huh? There's hope for all of us. Well, not all of us.
Well, he's
I'd be thrilled with an 8 over 44.
on that course. No kidding.
No, on any course.
Well, I take it he'll be heading out after today then.
I would think so. I don't have the whole score. Fouled back. He made the cut, Tommy? Oh, this is already third round because of the rain delay, and they're trying to catch up.
Forgot what day it is.
He may want to go home.
Uh-huh. He might.
1-2 count on Swisher. Here's the pitch, and just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
What do you think of that? That's not bad for Murph.
Yeah. That wasn't his line.
Wasn't his
That's
line.
why I was,
He was retweeting.
he stole someone's line. He gets the credit for it, though.
He claimed that Tiger's problems were that he stayed up too late watching the game last night here on TV.
That sounds like something Berto would say.
Now the 2-2. Again, he just missed with it. Full count. Pat Murray's been known to crack a bad joke or two in his day.
He seems quiet today.
Yeah, he is. A little subdued. 3-2 pitch. Fouled right back. Now the 3-2 again to Swisher. I'll tell you what, that's a pretty disciplined eye right there. Some of those pitches were close. He's able to lay off, and the Indians have their leadoff man aboard. There's our stat of the game brought to you by your Northern Ohio Buick dealers. In the month of May, Tribe went 18-12, third best in the league, 14-5 at home, best in the bigs. Most home wins in a calendar month since August of 1995.
Yeah.
But as they say, it's time to turn the page. June is here, and Jason Giambi steps in. Teams have had 2 months to try to figure out their identity, get their rotations all worked out, the kinks. Now is when the races start to begin.
Yeah. You start jockeying for position now. You get going. Some teams, of course, waiting for guys to get back off the disabled list. I'm sure a lot of teams are like that.
Yeah, you know the Yankees, they were besieged by injuries early.
They had a couple guys back last night.
Oh, Granderson came back, and then he broke a finger again.
I think Teixeira was back.
Giambi
and also
a good
Euclid. I mean, when you're talking about the Yankees, who we will see Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday for a day game there. So they're starting to get some of their players back.
Giambi with a long fly ball, deep right, Joyce back, looking up, gone to Souvenir City. Jason Giambi's 5th home run of the year stakes the Tribe to a 2-0 lead here in the second. Joe Madden has probably seen more of those than he would care to admit. Giambi strikes against Tampa here in the second.
I'll tell you what, he speeds up the bat of Jason Giambi here with a changeup. And he didn't miss it. Jason smoked this ball. Look at up, out over the plate. Elevated, and he kept it back enough. Tell you what, the guy's still got some very good power. And he continues after yesterday having off, comes right back in and hits a 2-run homer. So Tribe plays from in front.
That was no cheapie. You are absolutely correct. Giambi getting a little shoulder rub from Jason Kipnis in the Tribe dugout as the Indians will play from in front here today. He's had some, all of a sudden he's getting on a little roll here. The big home run in Cincinnati. 3-run shot here the other night.
It. That's right. They come in bunches.
Home run in 3 straight games.
Didn't play yesterday. Comes right back and hit a changeup that was upstairs and gave it a ride. And it says, young man, you better get the ball down.
Chris Archer's first hit that he allows in the big leagues clears the fences.
To a guy that's hit many in his career before. Right. So don't worry about it, young man. He's done it to a lot of people.
Carlos Santana fouls one back. At the knees, a called strike. You know what, Rick? I think I misspoke. He did pitch a little bit in the big leagues last year.
Couple of stints?
Yeah. First hit allowed this year, though, goes for the home run. Ground ball towards second base, and Roberts flips it over, 1 down.
MLB.com At Bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Indians baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, and highlights. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit Indians.com.
Talk about notches in the belt for a player like Jason Giambi. That's 279 different pitchers he has homered off in his career.
So, you make a mistake, and that's what happens. The guy is taking a lot of different people deep. And that's a nice shot in the arm for the Indians. That'll give them a little life in the bench there. Early afternoon wake-up call.
Brantley a liner to left, and a nice catch made by Johnson.
How's that for positioning?
Mike Avila's coming up here. We talked about his versatility, being able to move around on the field. With more on that, here's Katie.
Well, Matt, Terry Francona told me he is filling the exact role that he was hoping Mike Aviles would. He told me he's a guy who's good enough to play every day and wants to play every day, but he accepts that utility role. He can play anywhere in the field, hit anywhere in the lineup, and when he's not playing, he's making the team better by being a good teammate. We've definitely seen that, Matt.
Yeah, no question.
Well, we've seen him shower people with seeds when he's sitting on the bench, including the manager. Mike Aviles is he's a nice fit for this ball club. I'll tell you, I like the way they've structured this team. They're playing everybody. Everybody on the bench gets at bat, so nobody's really sitting any length of time to get rusty.
Yeah,
and I like that. I mean, everybody feels a part of this offense. That's why when you have innings, these guys are a part of it. Matter of fact, when this team got going, he's the one that played in the second game of the doubleheader, hit a couple home runs, and had 5 RBIs to get him going over the hump in Kansas City. And they took off from that point on. Not to say he did it, but he was a part of it.
Yeah, everybody's had a hand in it.
Right.
Ryan Rayburn had that amazing streak where he was hitting everything in sight.
I mean, it's nice when you can give guys days off and you can play everybody and you don't feel like you're at a loss.
Line to right for a base hit in front of Matt Joyce. And the inning stays alive as Aviles has his first hit in the series.
He tried to throw that ball by him inside. Avila searches the fastball, but he inside outs it, drops it in front of Joyce. And some of these outfielders have played pretty shallow and the off field. You know, like the left fielder last time Brantley was hitting, Johnson was way in on the ball, and it looked like that Joyce was there as well.
Drew Stubbs, swing and a miss. 0 for 2 with a walk last night. Archer of Tampa Bay made his major league debut last year against the Washington Nationals. And in that game, it's kind of interesting. His start snapped a streak of 232 consecutive games started by a pitcher that Tampa had drafted. That's a major league record. So you talk about an organization, and we mentioned it, that really went grassroots as far as drafting, developing their own starting pitchers and a lot of their position players as well, because that's the way they had to do it. They couldn't go out and free agent spend with the big boys, and they were so bad for so long. They had a lot of good draft picks, and they hit on a lot of them.
Yes, they did.
You don't hit on them all. But then Archer comes along, and even though they didn't draft him, certainly they had a pretty big hand in developing him. He was originally dealt by the Indians in exchange for Mark DeRosa to the Chicago Cubs. But then he went to Tampa in the Matt Garza deal. He strikes out Stubbs to end the inning. But Jason Giambi touches him up for a home run. Giambi's third straight game with a dinger, and the Indians lead it 2-0. For Miller time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Pot back out of play, 1-1 to kill. Upstairs ran it in a little bit as well.
Here's a guy that they acquired in the offseason with Escobar. They knew he was a good shortstop defensively. They thought probably he could hit a little better. But first time we saw him coming out of spring training, he was moved up in the lineup. Now he's down in the number 9 hole, probably to take some pressure off him. But defensively, this guy's slick fielding shortstop.
Line drive to right field, right into the tracks of Drew Stubbs, one away. Here's our great clip of the game from last night. Corey Kluber, he was in the starting spot, and he was sharp at the outset, throwing a ton of strikes, mixing his pitches very well, but unfortunately for Corey and for Matt Moore, who was trying to go to 9-0, the rains wiped out their opportunities.
24 pitches, 17 strikes. It was a tease last night because they had 2 good starting pitches. I was looking forward to watching Kluber go up against Moore because Moore is outstanding. And that would have been a really good matchup because Kluber is getting better and better with every start. Fun to watch him pitch now. Good curveball, using his fastball more. Unfortunately, it was just too short.
Joyce tried to hold up, but he went around. Speaking of getting better and better, the San Francisco Giants won the World Championship last year.
Right.
Do you know who the best hitter in baseball in the month of May was? Average
in baseball.
Just talking average in the month of May.
Well,
it might surprise you.
Well, obviously it's going to be with the Giants.
It is.
It's not going to be that little left fielder they have, is it?
Marco Scutaro.
Okay.
He hit .420 in the month of May.
Well, he had a great playoff for him, huh?
Isn't that something, though? I mean, the Giants are one of those teams. They don't have a ton of flashy stars or big name giant. You know, obviously Buster Posey's a star in his own right, but boy, they piece it together perfectly. Now, obviously, they got tremendous pitching, and that's
but
the
it hasn't been
for
tremendous this year, though. To this point, that's the thing, and they still keep on rolling. They're a game behind Arizona, though.
Matt Joyce is called out on strikes. There are 2 down here in the 3rd inning. Our injury report today brought to you by Elk & Elk. Serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. In the National League, Steven Strasburg left Friday's start after just 2 innings. He strained a muscle in his right side, so he's going back to Washington to get examined. Nationals scheduled to visit Cleveland on June the 14th, 15th, and 16th. It's a weekend series, Father's Day weekend.
Yeah, when we get home, that's right. We got Washington after a day off getting in from Texas.
Did he go?
No.
Appeal? No, he did not, says third base Upfield and Colbreth, the crew chief.
Well, it's a good try because look where he has his hands. They have him down there. It's tough to get up on anything, but he did check his swing. He didn't chase it.
Up and away with it. Man down low, a full count. You talked about the Giants and their pitching not quite up to snuff this year. They walked 107 batters in the month of May.
Right.
That's the 4th most. A lot of extra base runners. The Nationals pitching staff walked only 53 in the month. That's less than 2 per start. Rays go 1-2-3. Indians are providing a great way to get your group to Progressive Field this summer. For more information on how you can get on board the Indians Fan Express, call 216-420-HITS or log on to Indians.com. Chris Archer going to get a new baseball before we get the home half of the third underway here. Michael Bourne will lead it off. He lined out to right field his first time up.
Well, that first time through, you see Archer has a good fastball, anywhere from 94 to 96. Slider and a changeup.
And on the ground to short, Escobar. Throws out Bourne, one away. You know, from a fatigue factor, Arch, I'm not sure what's harder on the players. You know, last night where you're waiting around, you know, you were already started once, then you had to sit and wait 4.5 hours, get up and go, and you play till 3 o'clock in the morning. Or today.
Yeah, coming right back.
Where you're bouncing back on a few hours sleep.
I'll tell you what's even tougher than that, maybe tomorrow. Because, you know, you just haven't had enough rest to
adrenaline carries you for a while, and then
and then all of a sudden it sets in, and, you know, we're heading out of town after tomorrow. Tomorrow could be a tough day. That's where you need that starter to hopefully keep you in a ball game. Giambi gave him a nice shot in the arm early with a 2-run home run.
Good matchup tomorrow. Zach McAllister, Jeremy Hellickson. There's the line by Archer. And Kipnis shoots it out of play.
You know, days like that of yesterday, that happens once in a while in baseball, and you know both teams have to pay for it and go through it. Whether you're at home, you're on the road, it's no fun for anybody involved. But it's all part of a 162-game schedule. St. Louis the night before, we told you on Thursday night, they were going into the 9th inning. They blew a save, and they had a 4.5-hour rain delay before they could restart it again. And they came back for 12 minutes.
So they played 9 innings, then sat for 4.5 hours after that.
Right.
Waiting for the rain to get by.
And you know what happened? Joe West was the umpire. And he actually sat and waited for this. So you have to tip your cap because you figure, okay, Kansas City's in here. We could call it. They're in last place. Who cares? But they didn't. And those umpires had a day game in Chicago the next day. They jumped in a limousine to drive there after the ball game to do the day game. So, I mean, people don't understand that.
Too.
I'll tell you what, they did a nice job there. You have to, you know, tip your cap to those guys because it's easy to just say, hey, forget about it. But the integrity of the game has something to do with it, too, that a lot of people don't think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to give each team a fair opportunity, whether you're home, you're on the road, and it happens to everybody.
Kipnis lines one to deep left. It's over the head of Johnson. It'll go to the wall. Jason on his way to second base, and he'll go in sliding with a one-out double. His 11th two-bagger of the year. And he juiced that ball over the head of Johnson in left field.
Remember I said the outfielder was playing in a little shallow in the first couple innings? Well, now this is what it takes to burn him. You get one up over his head, and Kipnis does. Johnson was playing shallow. He did on Brantley, but he didn't realize this guy's been driving the ball to left center field, and he gets it over his head, so that'll go as a double. That may make him play a couple steps back now that you burn him one time.
And it will bring up Asdrubal Cabrera, who flied to center his first time up.
He had Kipnis down in that count also 0-2.
Good rip by Asdrubal right back to the screen. Fouled back. You know what? You're talking about the umpires taking that limousine. I think the Horseshoe Casino sends a limousine to New Philly every day to pick up Kreskin to bring him up here just so he can spend a few hours over there before he comes to work here.
That could be true. His new nickname is the Horseshoe.
The 0-2. Chopped to first. Fielded cleanly by Loney. He'll touch the bag. Kipnis goes to third, 2 away.
All right, we talked about the Washington Nationals coming into town when we return home. Well, they will be in June 14th and 15th, which is a Friday and Saturday. There will be a post-game fireworks show after both games. Friday is going to be set to the 67th Summer of Love, baby. And then Saturday, presented by Sugardale, is set to AC/DC. So come on out.
You drop down a little Craig Shoemaker there.
Yeah. Summer of Love. The Love Doctor. You got it.
Nick Swisher walked in, scored in the second ahead of the homer by Giambi. Now the pitch. Inside, ball one. Couldn't hold up. 1-1. The old in-between swing here from Nick. Wanted to hold up, couldn't do it. He had already committed. Swisher trying to snap an 0-for-8 slump at the dish. Jason Kipnis, who doubled with one out at third, taking his lead down at foul territory. And Swisher pulls it foul. 2-2. From the left side of the plate, Nick Swisher this year is hitting .243 with 4 home runs. Flip it around the other side of the plate, he's hitting over .300 with 3 homers.
Let's see if they can get their 2-out hit today.
Right back.
He was looking for that pitch on the 2-1. He ended up getting a changeup and might have helped him out, but fouled it off. And then that fastball there got a piece of it. That was a tough one.
Archer delivers the 2-2, and Swisher takes just a bit low, a full count.
He's taking some good pitches today that are tough to lay off. Upstairs, the first at-bat.
Does that tell you he's picking it up really well?
Got to be.
Seeing it?
I mean, he didn't waver at that curveball, and that was a good, well-located pitch that, a lot of guys get after it. Once you commit to it, you can't stop it. He just spit on it, man.
He did get caught in between on the slider earlier in the at-bat. 3-2 up high.
Wow.
Another walk for Swisher. And Giambi will be coming to the plate again with men on base. Here's our AT&T Uverse rewind. Jason Giambi back in Cincinnati. Wow, that was a monster home run.
That looked like it was down and away. This one caught himself a breaking ball and hit it out. And this one he hit a changeup.
4 hits in his last 6 at-bats over these last 3 games. Homering in all 3.
Yeah, hugs go around. Look at that helmet comes down. The bill of the cap goes right over his nose.
Another chance to do some damage, though, for Giambi here.
Start him off with a slider inside.
That's the fastball as it takes off up out of the zone. 1-1. Jason moving in on Andre the Hawk Dawson. Inside, he missed 2-1. Doubled up with that fastball, and he's shown an explosive fastball at times, 98, 96, but a lot of times, as what we talked about earlier, commanding his fastball, not quite where he wants to be.
When I come here, I think this gun is a little trumped up in this ballpark, to be honest with you. I think it's about 2 miles an hour fast. That he's 96 smooth.
There's a base hit in the gap. That's going to score Kipnis. On his way to third is Swisher. And Jason Giambi has driven in all three for the Indians here today. Another 2-out RBI hit, and the Indians are on top 3-0.
The red-hot Giambino. He goes down and got himself a fastball. This goes our McDonald's. I'm loving it. 2-out base hit. He got too much of the plate. Molina wanted it away. It stayed down, and he's a good low ball hitter. He just dropped ahead. So Giambi, he's doing all the damage today to this point. Driven in all three, makes it a 3-0 game, and he is 2 for 2.
Jim Hickey, the Tampa pitching coach, out to talk to the young starter Chris Archer, who has been victimized twice now by the veteran Giambi. Well, the walk. Swisher walked to start the second inning, and the 2-out walk here in the third. So you have to give, and those were
the leadoff walk.
Those were tough walks. He had to work the count both times.
You're right. Those at-bats kept it going. That's a good point.
First, third with 2 down as Santana steps in. Grounded to second his first time up. Carlos 0 for 4 in the series. His batting average has dipped all the way down to 377. Or, excuse me, 277.
He'll take the extra 100 if you want to give it to him.
He was hitting close to 377.
Well, you know what? Turn the page. May is over. He had a tough one. Offensively, defensively, move on.
Strike call, and he doesn't like the call.
That's what they start saying, in June, that month, when the weather starts warming up and getting hotter, so do good hitters.
Carlos hit 389 to be exact in April. He was 20 for 100 in May. And he just drilled himself.
I mean to tell you, he's been beating himself up at the plate, behind the plate. It doesn't matter. The other night, one off his kneecap when he was DHing. This one's got to be off the front leg. See if it gets the padding. Yes, it did hit at least the padding, I think.
Yeah, seemed like it did.
The inside part of it. But his balance at the plate, he's a guy we talk about always with a high leg kick. And right now, his leg kick, you try to eliminate that.
Looks like he's not only got the leg kick, but almost at the height of that leg kick, a little bit of a tuck as well.
That's what happens. Sometimes your body starts moving. You got to be great balance when you have a leg kick like that. And a lot of times, when you're struggling, you'd rather get that foot down earlier to get your hands through the zone. And right now, his timing with that kick, it's been a mess. And it's tough to get after because one time you get up and then one time his front shoulder can fly open, his body can start moving forward, and that knocks you off balance and it doesn't give you a good foundation to hit off of.
The 0-2 moved him back off the plate a little bit.
Normally when he's swinging it right, you can't throw a fastball by him. But it's not right.
Nick Swisher's at third. Giambi is at first with 2 down. And the Tribe out in front 3-0. Right-hander Chris Archer just over 60 pitches. Little bit outside. Try to get him to expand. That is one thing that Santana has been able to continue to do despite his slumping average, is keep that good eye at the plate, not chase bad pitches. He's continued to take his walks. Santana's batted .333 with runners in scoring position on the year. Giambi takes off, and Santana strikes out. Second strikeout for Archer. Indians get another run as Jason Giambi is driven in 3 for the Indians. Beautiful summer-like day. Not quite summer yet, but it's closing in on us. It has felt like the dead of summer, though, the last 3 days. Temperature in the 80s. Humidity.
Right.
Heavy rains last night. Heavy rains expected later this evening.
Well, it can come later. Just let us finish tonight or today on Albert Bell Bobblehead Day.
Well, I saw them lined up, Arch. They were here early, lined up down the
Rightfully
street.
so.
They wanted to get those bobbleheads.
First 10,000 fans in the gates got one.
Evan Longoria fly to right his first time up. I saw Murph lined up this morning, too. Kind of odd.
Well, I don't think he went home last night. He wanted one of those and got it.
Longoria sends one high in the air, deep left center. Bourne makes the grab on the warning track. One away. Take a look at today's trivia question brought to you by AT&T. Who holds the Indians' record for most consecutive no-hit innings? We'll have the answer coming up later in the game. James Loney flied to left his first time up. Fouled back out of play.
Loney with a good night last night, a couple of home runs. He's having a nice year for the Rays. 14 doubles, 7 homers, 28 ribbies.
Little topper right back to the mound. Boy, it's rare that you see that happen when a catcher stands up. You want that pitch up out of the strike zone. It's rare that you see a guy top that. Usually you'll see him swing and miss or maybe pop it up.
Well, bring the whole family out for KeyBank Kids Fun Day. That's each and every Sunday. Had a home game out here at Progressive Field. Plenty of activities for the kids. They get to run the bases after the game. So come on out. Kids, enjoy it.
Strike call outside edge on Desmond Jennings. Now the 2-1. Grounded right at the shortstop, Cabrera. Throws out the speedy Jennings, and the Rays go 1-2-3. And Ubaldo Jimenez has retired 7 Rays hitters in a row.
Replica jersey giveaways will take place Saturday, June 15th against the Washington Nats. First 10,000 fans will receive a jersey of Tribe second baseman Jason Kipnis. Log on to Indians.com and get your tickets. The first to 4. Kipnis will be number 1, number 22 on your back.
Bottom third of the Indians order coming up here in the home half of the 4th. Michael Brantley, Mike Aviles, and Drew Stubbs due up. Brantley, a line out to left his first time up. Slowly chopped to second base. 2 down, or 1 down, as Brantley is 0 for 2 on the day. And we'll bring up Mike Aviles.
You know, we were talking earlier about Aviles playing different positions and all over. And when you look at the non-regulars for the Indians and Francona, Aviles has 95 at-bats. Gomes has 71. And you look at Rayburn, he's got 98. So, I mean, when you look at those 3 guys that aren't everyday players, they have had their share of at-bats, which we were talking about early.
You know, you think back to those 95 Indians
Oh, God, those poor guys.
It was tough for Mike Hargrove to find at bats for guys like
they
Wayne
didn't
Kirby and
you don't get them.
Espinoza.
You would not when you had as many everyday players as they had. Sorry, Paul, you're not playing. You know what? The only time you would play is if they were hurt or they needed it. But they had guys that they didn't want days off.
Albert Bell couldn't get him out.
You could not pull him out with a tow truck. He was coming and he was playing every day.
And Omar played every day.
They all did.
Baerga was an everyday guy. At that point, 95, Jim Thome was at third base. He was
Sorrento
playing
was
every
at
day.
first. Yes, I'm telling you.
Sorrento
they had
or Murray,
guys.
you had them at first.
You had Espinosa. You had Kirby. Those guys would get an occasional bone thrown their way.
Yeah, Ruben Amaro might steal an at bat here or there later in the year. But you're right. They just
Kenny Lofton in center. Yeah, it was.
Well, and then when you think about it, who are you going to pinch hit? You going to pinch hit for one of those guys? No way. Not going to happen. Now, when necessity, extra innings, things of that nature.
Right.
Yeah, those guys could step in and do it. They did a terrific job. But what Francona has done here this year has really been fun to watch because he's almost made it more of like a National League roster, the way he's been able to use his extra guys.
The Indians would be a good National League team, the way they play. I really do. And, so far, so good playing against at least the Phillies and the Reds. 5-3 is their record.
Stubbs was going to bunt his way aboard, but hit him in the box before he could get out for a foul ball. .75 pitches for Chris Archer. 45 have been strikes. And the breaking ball just flat out missed. Didn't have any snap to it.
Well, there's one that gets away. And that's the way you turn. Just turn inside, follow the baseball where it's coming in. Turn away from it.
Came right back with it and did a nice job to drop that one over the strike zone. 1-2 the count now. The 1-2. Up and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Avila's taking his modest lead at first. And now draws a throw. The other thing I was going to say, Rick, about the Indians roster and the extra men, everybody's sort of checked their ego this year. You don't see anybody getting surly or bent out of shape about at bats or playing time. And I know Terry's done a good job of keeping everybody sharp by getting everybody that playing time. But, Aviles has been an everyday player. A lot of these guys have had those roles before, and yet they're...
that comes from the players. The players on this team are controlling their own clubhouse. And Terry does his job. They all do their own thing, but the players have to patrol their little clubhouse, man. They got to take care of it. One guy gets out of line, you'll have 4 or 5 others jumping on him, and that's the way it should be. But you have, guys, there's a lot of new faces there, so it's going to take a little while for them to get to know each other. And once this season started, that you have to go through the trials, tribulations of the year and the day in and the day out business.
I like the fact that Rayburn was all over Michael Bourne the other day I don't know if it was MLB Network. They were doing their rankings, player rankings, and Bourne had dropped to like 8th best in center fielders, and Rayburn said that's because you messed up that ball the other night when you had the ball and it flipped out of your glove and went for a home run.
You gave up a home run instead of catching the ball. Beautiful.
Go down to second. Aviles has a steal. His 4th of the year. But that's the kind of good-natured kidding. You and I couldn't get away with that in that clubhouse. We get poked in the eye, but those guys hoot on each other, and it keeps everybody loose.
That's the way it should
and humble.
be done. And that was a good pitch to throw on. So Aviles steals the base. Good time to run, 2 outs. Now Bourne has a chance to drive him in. And that's the chance you take stealing the base with your leadoff hitter up. If he's thrown out, now Bourne comes back the next inning and leads off. If you steal the base, now, Michael, you get a base hit, you add on to a 3-0 lead.
It's up high, 2-1.
Well, I remember when we were our first trip to Tampa, when Rayburn was playing out there a lot, he had his one game where he hit a couple of balls off the wall. And we were on that bus ride going to the airport, and they were all over him. He wasn't strong enough to hit home runs, man. And, he was down from around Florida, and they had family in town. And, they made him feel, oh, man, I'm getting weak. It was beautiful.
Well, right now, Rayburn pulling for his teammate Michael Bourne to come up with another big 2-out hit. The 2-2 strikes him out to end the inning. 4 complete. It's the Indians 3 and the Rays nothing.
Brought to you by the wireless receiver only from AT&T Uverse. Rethink possible. And by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Tribe with a 3-0 lead as we go to the 5th inning. And for Tampa, Luke Scott, Ryan Robertson, Jose Molina are due up against Ubaldo Jimenez, who has made 50 pitches through the first 4 frames. Ubaldo walked the first hitter he faced. He gave up a bunt single to Luke Scott in the second. And that's been it. He has struck out a pair. There was one misfire on a potential double play ball defensively, but other than that, he's been free and easy and cruising right along. And Scott, with that bunt single, he's not a guy that bunts, but the Indians had the shift on, and Aviles was playing over towards second base, so they were just saying, here, take it.
Well, there you
and
go. Until he gets a strike, he's going to stay where he is at right now. Santana, the same thing happened to him. Was it in Cincinnati or Boston or one of those places? Now he'll go back. Let's see if he goes back to the shortstop position on the foul ball. or he's going to wait till he gets 2 strikes.
Don't wait till they get to 2.
Yeah, wait till you get to 2.
Fouled right back.
There he goes. That's the way it started last time before the first pitch.
Chop foul, first base side. And the count stays 2-2 on Luke Scott. That bunt hit for Luke Scott, his 4th hit in his last 23 at-bats. 3 of those 4 hits came Tuesday against Miami. Strikes out here. 3rd strikeout for Jimenez. 1 down in the 5th, and that's 8 straight retired by the Indians right-hander. We go downstairs and check in with Katie.
Well, Matt, Ubaldo Jimenez has really been working hard on his extension and his follow-through. There's times when he ends in a position where his shoulders are squared up, kind of facing home plate, instead of leading with his front shoulder. It's really key for him to do that, because when he doesn't get that extension, he not only loses angle on his fastball, but he also loses his command.
There you go. She's got it ironed out, doesn't she?
She giving lessons anytime soon?
I think tonight from 5 to 7. We just got to find out where.
1-0 pitch. Ryan Roberts, a fielder's choice in the 2nd inning. He hit into what should have been a double play. But on the turn, Jason Kipnis had Luke Scott standing up right in front of him.
Yeah.
And if he didn't hit him in the helmet, he tried to throw it over his head, and the throw went awry. Yeah, it's one of those things where if you hit him in the helmet, then the ball goes.
It's still in play.
You don't know where it goes,
right.
And yeah, you're in trouble there potentially. The other thing is, do you have time to step?
Well, let's see, because it was a late throw because he was going, and they had to get him, and he was on his way up.
Step. He was trying to get out.
He was out, but he still was in the line of fire.
You're not expecting a guy to just stand up right in front of you.
Well, that goes to show you if you're a base runner what you can do once you get to the base. Make it tough for the second baseman to get the ball around you. It was just a weird play because the runner was running, and Aviles decided, I'm going to still go for 2 because I can get him. A good play on his part. It's just a tough play on Kipnis because Scott ended up standing up in his way.
Swing and a miss. Roberts goes fishing. Back-to-back strikeouts here in the 5th, 2 down. Jose Molina struck out his first time up. Now, we mentioned earlier the Indians heading out on a long roadie after tomorrow's series finale. And then they'll come home to take on the Washington Nationals Father's Day weekend. Boy, another good inning for Ubaldo Jimenez. That's 10 straight set down by the Indians right-hander. Indians with a 3-0 lead. We're going to the bottom of the 5th inning. Kipnis, Cabrera, and Swisher coming up for the Indians. Let's go back to the Hyundai Studios right now and get an in-game update from Al Pawlowski.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Rick. Let's go to Minnesota. The only other game this afternoon in the American League. Seattle with a couple of runs in the first inning on back-to-back homers by Bay and Seager. Here, Kyle Seager hits his 7th, put him ahead 2-0. It's now 2-1. Aaron Harang on the hill for Seattle in the 5th inning at Target Field. Matt?
All right, thanks, Al. Here is Jason Kipnis leading off the bottom of the 5th for the Tribe. He doubled over the head of left fielder Kelly Johnson his last time up. Johnson playing a little bit deeper this time around.
Yes, indeed. You get them once. That's all it takes when you're playing out there. There's nothing wrong with playing shallow until you get burned. Or unless it's later in the game and you have a guy on base and you don't want that to happen. I'll tell you, this young man, he's got a pretty good arm.
I was going to say, he's been impressive. He's given up the 3 runs, a 2-run homer by Giambi on a changeup in the 2nd, and the 2-out RBI hit by Giambi in the 3rd.
Giambi's the only one that hurt him, and he hung up the changeup and he tried to get a fastball by him. But he's got a good fastball. I like his changeup, a nice slider.
And a base hit by Kipnis to open up the home half of the 5th, so he's 2 for 3. 3rd time through the order, it'll be interesting to see. Now, they have activity in their bullpen. We don't know how long the leash will be. He's at 88 pitches, but, the Indians, now that they've seen him a couple of times, they may zero in.
Another changeup. See, the 2 times he left the changeup up, the hitters have been able to get to him. So Kipnis comes by, and you're right, the 3rd time through, I think that's why they'll have their bullpen ready. He realizes right now you can't fall much farther behind, and you're coming back to the meat part of the lineup.
There's Dribble Cabrera, 0 for 2 on the day. Drilled down the left field line, but slicing out of play. Joe Maddon felt like when he called up Chris Archer that he said, quote, physically and mentally, he's ready. And he said, I think he gets it. He knows that his time will come, and he knows he's going to be here for a long time. He said he also knows he has to do things the right way. He's very accountable, so I really believe he's going to pitch well right now. Cabrera right now sends one deep and gone to the seats in the lower deck in right field. It's a 2-run homer for Cabrera, and it's now a 5-0 Indians lead. So the Tribe, this 3rd time around, getting to Archer as Cabrera hits the Indians' 2nd home run of the day. Both of them have been 2-run shots for the Tribe. And they're up 5-0.
Well, let's take a look at our Nissan pitch tracker and watch the swing, and it's another changeup. Boy, another one upstairs. So he has been hurt on his changeup today. It's not that you quit throwing it, you just have to locate it better. Cabrera beats him with the changeup, another 2-run home run. They make it a 5-0 ball game, and for Cabrera, his 5th homer.
Down on the dirt to Swisher. Up and away. Now the Indians, the 5th inning has been their special inning this season. Tribe has outscored the opposition 52-19 in this 5th inning. Nice thing about today, though, is 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, 2 more in the 5th. They're continuing to add on. Oh, it hit him and it went through into center field. Swisher's got a base hit. It almost undressed Archer on its way back up the middle.
That's going to do it for him. But, you talk about being scared. That kid, I don't know if it hit him, if it got his glove, but it flew off his hand. And it, rocketed by him in center. Watch this. Oh, just grazed it. The glove, the arm, I don't know what it was, but it got there in a hurry. Wow. Lucky.
Well, Chris Archer's start here against the team that drafted him ends in the 5th inning. And he's on the short end of a 5-0 score. Today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. Left-hander coming on when we come back. Five-zip, Indians on top. Bottom of the 5th inning, and they've knocked Chris Archer from the ball game. So it's Alex Torres. Just called up. He'll make his 3rd appearance on the year, and he'll be facing Jason Giambi. So a lefty-lefty matchup here.
Yeah, you mentioned it. We're going the 3rd time through, and that young man, Chris Archer, he had a scare on that last one from Swisher. And he left it. Giambi hit the changeup out of the ballpark. Cabrera hit the changeup out of the ballpark. And Kipnis started this inning with a changeup. You know, it's probably a pitch that he has to work on. But if he can command it, he'll be tough. But today he left it up, and the Indians hurt him.
Giambi takes it's inside ball 1. Jason is just 1 for 7 on the year against lefties. Swung on and missed. But that one hit was a home run.
That's getting hot in a hurry.
Fouled back. And the count 1-2. Giambi strikes out. One down here in the 5th. Here's our game recap brought to you by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. Jason Giambi with a 2-run homer in the 2nd inning. Gave the Indians a 2-0 lead. Then he drove in a run with a 2-out RBI knock in the 3rd to make it 3-zip. And then here in the 5th is Drupal Cabrera. Liftoff, 2-run smash, 5-0 Indians. Carlos Santana takes a strike. Torres shakes him off a couple of times. Now the 1-1. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes. A little bit high. 2-2. Santana juices one to left, but it's right in the tracks of Kelly Johnson. 2 down.
Well, Swisher in his first 2 at-bats, when he had 2 strikes on him, he worked the at-bats to get it to Giambi both times. And I mean great at-bats, both walks. But he took some really tough pitches right there. He fouled off 2 strikes, took that breaking ball tough not to swing at it. Another close one upstairs. I think Archer thought he had one, but those were 2 at-bats that ended up coming around. He scored both times because of the walks. Well, the second one was a walk, and then he got the base hit.
Now Michael Brantley with a fly ball to right field. And the side is retired, but the Indians keep swinging the bats well here today. As Drupal Cabrera, 2-run homer. Cleveland 5, Tampa 0. Baseball night in America returns tonight as David Ortiz and the Red Sox head to New York to take on Robinson Cano and the Yankees. Baseball Night in America begins tonight at 7 Eastern, only on Fox. Yunel Escobar will lead it off here in the 6th inning as Ubaldo Jimenez will look to continue his mastery of the Tampa team. He has retired 11 straight. He's retired the side in order the last 3 innings in a row. And then you go back to the 2nd inning. Luke Scott with 1 out laid down a bunt single because they had the shift on. And he just said, well, you're going to shift everybody over. I'll just bunt one over here. So that's the only hit he's allowed in the game. The next man up, Ryan Roberts, hit into what looked like it was going to be an inning-ending double play, but a little snafu on the throw to first base, so he wound up reaching on a fielder's choice. And that was the start of 11 straight retired by Jimenez. Escobar line to right. He did hit the ball hard his first time up. Checks. A strike called 1-1. Two and 1 to count with Matt Joyce to follow. Then Kelly Johnson here in the 6th for Tampa.
Not many 3-1 counts today. He's usually been pitching from in front.
Bullseye right in there.
Well, and when you're down 5 runs and you have a 3-1 count, make sure it's going to be a perfect pitcher. Don't swing at it. You need the base runners. But he finds a strike zone, so now you get one more look at him.
Ubaldo's payoff pitch. Slowly chopped. Going to be a tough play. Avila's on the move. Throws off balance, and Escobar beats it out.
Well, 2 infield hits. Nothing you could do there. You're playing back, 3-2 count. Avila's way back, and he's going to beat it out. Any average base runner would. You top it, and you can see him coming into play. He puts a glove on it. I think a lot of guys now, maybe if you're playing every day, would have tried it with the bare hand, but he's not been playing there every day, so you might as well, you got to make sure you pick it up with the glove, field it, and throw it. Nothing you can do.
That brings up Matt Joyce, who has walked and struck out. Well, the Indians will not fire a one-hitter here this afternoon after they were one hit last night. That's already the 10th one-hitter in the majors this year. What do we have? We have one no-hitter?
None.
No.
There's not. No, we've been close. You had some guys going into the 9th inning, I think, 3 times.
Yeah.
Started from the 2nd game of the season down in Houston. Yu Darvish. Sanchez had the no-hitter going into the 9th.
Joyce is swinging a miss. That's interesting then. We've had 10 one-hitters, but not a single no-no yet.
And then the kid from St. Louis gave up the hit to start the game and then retired 27 straight after that. Shelby Miller.
Was it Sanchez that had 2 outs in the 9th?
Yeah.
That's the one I think we watched.
Darvish had. Bauer had 2 outs. Got the base hit. So.
Yeah, Darvish was a perfect game with 2 outs in the 9th.
Base hit right back up the middle.
Yeah, I remember that.
How many times do you see that happen? A base hit up the middle.
In the air, deep to center, but room for Bourne. Michael has it, 1 down. Back to first goes Escobar. Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index. With runners in scoring position, Miguel Cabrera at 5:15.
Well, this kid is having a spectacular year. 4:57, but 5:15 off the charts. A couple of boys in Baltimore doing pretty well, too.
That's drilled deep right field. Stubbs on the move on the track. He makes the catch. Up against the wall, hangs on for out number 2. Boy, a fine running catch by Drew Stubbs. He went a long way to track that ball down.
Yes, he did. He ends up jumping at the end over near the wall. He didn't realize exactly how much room, but he had so far to go. Puts his glove up, and you can see a little white maybe coming out. That's a nice running catch. Hard to do in the corner. Nice play, Drew Stubbs.
And so with 2 down, Evan Longoria to the plate with that runner still at first base. Longoria has flied to right, flied to center. He was trying to hit one out the left there.
Well, his first 2 at-bats today, he skied one to right, and I mean skied one to left, so he's just gotten under a couple today. And he let that one fly as well.
Nothing into the count. Crowd appreciating the efforts of Jimenez here today. The 0-2 pitch. Upstairs with it.
That's where his fastball goes now, the harder he tries to throw it. He's been down. His velocity's been down, which is good. When he tries to hump up to 93, 94, it's always elevated, overthrowing. But, boy, when he stays within himself, so much better.
Downstairs 2-2. Jimenez 1 strike away from his 6th shutout inning of the afternoon. Breaking ball, strike 3 called. Longoria out looking. And we'll head to the bottom of the 6th with the Tribe in command, 5-0.
And Dwight Burgess brings you all the play-by-play action at 7:30 on Fox Sports Ohio. They're coming back here, bottom half of the 6th inning. It's been all Indians this afternoon. A 5-0 lead for the Tribe. They're going to get a chance again. Torres came on last inning out of the bullpen. Left-hander that is just called up by Tampa today. It'll be Aviles, Stubbs, and Bourne, the scheduled hitters.
And Mike Aviles takes a strike. He has singled, walked, stolen a base today. Out of play. Tribe and the Tampa Bay Rays will finish up the series tomorrow afternoon, a 1 o'clock game. We will, of course, have it for you here on Sports Time Ohio.
And then it's on the road again. 3-city trip.
That's right, Willie.
3 in New York, on the road again. 3 in New York, 3 in Detroit, and 3 in Texas. Then it's back home for the Nationals to some interleague play. They were here a couple of years ago. I remember it was for the second start of maybe 3 years ago. Oh, yeah.
Fair ball. Down the line it goes. Aviles on his way to second base, and now a fan reached over and grabbed it apparently. Or it got hung up by somebody. Oh, it went down inside the tarp.
Well, as much as that's been rolled in and out in the last couple of days, it doesn't surprise me. Ground rule double. It's looking for a place to hide. A lot of moisture in there for that ball. It could stop and get a drink. Goes right in. Watch it go right into the corner. Fair ball, kept it inside, and disappears. Ball boy didn't even have to move down there. There's that security.
Drew Stubbs rips one down the right side, but foul. Drew, a couple of strikeouts today. No balls and 2 strikes. And Drew flirting with that third base line, but it's just foul. I mentioned it last night. Everybody in the Central Division lost last night.
Yeah.
So no ground gained or lost. The Indians still a half game back of Detroit. Tigers have lost 4 in a row. Stubbs is out looking, 1 away.
Well, the Tribe will take on the Nationals when we return home from the road trip. And on Friday night when we come back, it's going to be Dollar Dog Night plus a post-game fireworks set to the 1967 Summer of Love. So get your tickets at Indians.com.
Michael Bourne 0 for 3 on the day. Chopper to first. 2 away. Aviles moves to third. The Tigers, by the way, are in action later today against the Baltimore Orioles in Maryland. White Sox have lost 4 straight. They're 4 games back of the Indians in 3rd place. Then the Twins, then the Royals. Kipnis fouls it out of play. And Jason down on the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Boy, Jason juiced one on the 3rd. He hit it over the head of the left fielder, Kelly Johnson. Came around to score on Jason Giambi's 2-out RBI single. That made it 3-0. And then in the 5th inning, he pulled a ball through the right side of the infield for a base hit and scored on Asdrubal Cabrera's 2-run homer. Oh, half swing, caught in between, strikes out, ends the inning. 6 complete. Cleveland 5, Tampa nothing. With 18 locations in Northeast Ohio, and by Levin. Indians with a 5-0 lead over Tampa. Top of the 7th inning. Ubaldo Jimenez has been terrific. 6 shutout innings. He's given up 2 measly little infield hits.
Yes, that's true. The ball has not left the infield when it comes to a hit. Went 7 innings in his last start at Cincinnati. Gave up 4 hits in that ball game. He's walked 1, struck out 5 today.
In there for a strike. Chop foul, first base side. James Loney has flied out and grounded out. Another weak tapper. Gets by Jimenez. Kipnis has time, though, and throws him out. One away. As promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Ubaldo Jimenez, just over 80 pitches on the day. 65% have been for strikes. He's had 3 base runners. He's had really command of all of his pitches for the most part. 0 for 8 when a Tampa hitter has been at the plate with a runner on base, and that's been minimal.
Again, the secondary pitches he's been able to command is right, and that certainly helps. So his second start, that's been very good.
Well, what's got to be encouraging is that, okay, he was on a little bit of a roll there. I mean, he was really pitching well. And then he goes up against Detroit and gets waylaid.
Yeah.
And so the question is, all right, was that just the aberration, or is that a sign of, impending doom, and maybe he's going to slide back the other way? But he came right back. Good start against Cincinnati, and he follows that up with another strong outing today.
Yeah, right. I mean, he beat Detroit 2 starts before they just roughed him up. He beat him in Detroit, which is harder to do because we never win in Detroit, or rarely.
Well, he doesn't, especially.
Right.
It seems like that's a bad place for him to pitch.
He's been, just more consistent this year, and it's all because of his delivery, and he's able to throw strikes and repeat. As you see the check
call there
by
he
Jennings.
He went 2-1. Pop back out of play.
He'll be the first to tell you. Look, it's different this year. I can command my delivery. I can repeat, and it's better command with fastball, and his off-speed pitches have been better. And he's not trying to overthrow. And I think they got him away from looking at that radar gun on the velocity.
That's a big part of it. You know, we talked about the players. You know, how the players have to check their egos sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, if you're an everyday guy and you're not an everyday guy anymore, you got to say, hey, accept your role. I think for Jimenez it was similar. Check your ego. Okay, it's not 98. That's okay. You can still get hitters out at 93, 94 miles an hour, and I think he's been able to do it.
You can get him out at 90. That ball caught Honora right on the forearm. Watch this. No leather, or right on the bicep. Right in the arm. So that hurts. No padding whatsoever.
Desmond Jennings, the batter, 0 for 2 on the day. Jimenez just about ready to make his 90th pitch of the afternoon. So he's been pretty judicious with his pitches. Hasn't had a lot of big pitched innings or, cases where he's had to go 10, 11, 12 pitches to record an out. And that's always the most important thing. If you can get a guy out inside of 5 pitches, you're going to find yourself getting deeper and deeper into games.
Well, that's why sometimes you don't care about strikeouts. You like quick outs.
Deep to right. It's over the head of Stubbs. Not easy to hit one over that guy's head, but pretty good breeze blowing out to right center, and Jennings barreled it up. So he's into second base with a double. And a one-out base runner for the Rays here in the 7th inning.
This is where you're going to see where the breaking ball is upstairs. And you get hurt with it. Got underneath it.
Yeah, it sure looked like he did, Rick. Like he cut underneath it on the delivery.
Well, you hang it. It makes it easier for that hitter. Desmond Jennings gets his 14th double. It's a one-out double.
And now Luke Scott to the plate, 1 for 2. Scott struck out his last time up. He had the bunt single back in the 2nd inning. Fouled back out of play. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Tried to get him to chase up high, and he wouldn't do it. One-two pitch down in the dirt. Nice job by Santana that time on a ball that was truly spiked right into the dirt.
Little splitter. He just ran right with it, didn't he? That ball going down and away. Watch his feet. The footwork. He just gives it up. Kept the glove down. Stayed up high. Let that ball come up and bounce, hopefully into the chest protector.
Swing and a miss. He takes care of him by striking him out. That's 7 punch-outs for Ubaldo Jimenez. 2 down in the 7th inning.
Straight fastball. One at him.
One, two, three. I went from 3 to 5.
That's okay.
You missed. I missed a 4 in there.
Well, normally I do that, and you correct me when you say how many punch outs,
three,
but I
four,
have
five,
6.
six.
That's
Yep.
okay.
Yep. Boy, that's 4, 5, 6. Ryan Roberts 0 for 2 on the day, struck out his last time up. In the air, center field, Michael Bourne on the move, makes the running catch, and hangs on to retire the side. 7 goose eggs on the board, courtesy of Ubaldo Jimenez, and the Tribe in command 5-0. It's now time for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Spitzer Auto World. Life is hard. Buying a car shouldn't be. Ballpark from our Panini Cam, brought to you by Panini's Bar and Grill. The Indians not disappointing the folks in attendance here today with a 5-0 lead. Tribe flexing their muscle. 2-run homer by Giambi. 2-out RBI hit by Giambi. 2-run homer by Cabrera. All right, Rick, what do you got?
Well, who holds the Indians record for most consecutive no-hit innings? I got it. Eck played behind him when he was doing it. 1977. We showed you the no-hitter he had against the Angels, right?
Right.
Well, before that, it was like 7 innings after he had to start before the Angels, where he had 7 no-hit innings. Going into the no-hitter, pitched the no-hitter. Then after that, we went to Seattle and played, and he had like
another
6 innings.
Yeah.
And
how about that?
A good trivia question was, who broke it up?
In Seattle?
Yeah.
Can't think of the guy's name. Alvin
Rupert Jones.
Oh, Rupert Jones.
Yeah, and I hit a home run, and that's what ended it. But it was in about the 6th inning. What a run! What a streak!
What was the? That is amazing. Where's that historically? Do you know?
It was like, I think, second behind Cy Young or somebody like that. It was like it was 20. He had 22 and a third. I think it was 23 or something like that. He was getting really, really close.
Because I was thinking, you talking about no-hit innings. That's to me, that's got to be close to the equivalent of the Hershiser Drysdale consecutive scoreless inning streak, which was what, 59, 60 innings.
Had back-to-back no-hitters, right?
Yeah.
So that's 18.
Yeah. And he's the only guy to ever do that.
22 and a third, so he was over that. So it's
you're
think
right
about it that way. That's over 2 no-hitters. Very.
You and I were visiting with him when we were in Boston, and I was really surprised to hear that he was still pitching as of a year ago.
Well, pickup games and coming in.
But still,
Yeah.
Of course, he ended up having to have surgery because of it. You only have so many innings of wear and tear, and he pitched so many years.
Yeah.
You go from starter, and then you go to the bullpen for all those years.
Never had elbow surgery or rotator cuff until you're out and you're on the senior circuit waving to people, and you blow out your shoulder.
He was at, like a Hall of Fame type fantasy
down in
camp
Columbus.
situation?
Correct. They had that, it's an all-star or something like that.
He was telling us, Reggie Jackson and some other guys in the outfield, they said they
Bench
couldn't run. The
Yeah.
guys hit the ball. He was still mad he was giving up hits.
He was, yes, as every pitcher is. You know what? You could retire, but even when you go to those games, they
still want to win.
They get, Some things never change. And it's all about them if you're a pitcher. It's not about what the team did. Oh, well, I remember I. That's a pitcher's mentality. They pitch on their day. They get after it. But knowing that as a player, then you don't worry about it. You take it with a grain of salt.
Nice play at third by Longoria. And he robbed Swisher of a hit right there. Boy, Nick hit that ball hard, and Longoria just went a step to his left. Took it away from
that's
him.
what I'm saying. He's a great third baseman. That ball Reynolds hit last night and ate him up. Look at this play. That ball takes a hop. He makes a nice play, scoops it, and throws it over. They gave him an arrow last night. He's one of the best in the business over there.
Yeah. Well, that should have been a hit. That ball was scorched last
He's
time.
good. He's good over there. Very good third baseman. Good player. And now he'll go over to the second base side. As Boston did that. Another Eastern Division team took their third baseman, let their shortstop stay on his side of the diamond. Does it matter? I don't know.
Giambi's had a good day. 2-run homer in the second, 2-out RBI hit in the third.
Yeah, he got him started early, which was good. I think they needed a jump start.
course, those two hits both coming off the right-hander, the starter Chris Archer.
Changeup for the 2-run homer. Fastball with a 2-out base hit RBI. That
No
got
balls,
some
2
protecting
strikes.
there. He tells Molina, don't worry about it. That one hit the chest protector there. The other one caught nothing but flesh. Or is it the mask? Let's see. It's direct, goes straight back. Oh, off the glove to the mask. That was Benji that redirected it. He gets an assist. Or Jose. Benji, Jose. Yadier.
A little bit outside, 1-2 the count. The flying Melendez and the squatting Molinas. Little bit outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 down here in the 7th inning. Giambi strikes out. We'll go to the 8th. 5-0 Cleveland.
Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
We go to the 8th inning here at Progressive Field with the Tribe on top, 5-0. It's Ubaldo Jimenez dialing up a dandy here today. He's at 98 pitches. Bullpen is quiet. He's got the 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up. At the knees, a called strike. Happy birthday wishes today. Celebrating her first birthday, Gia Salvo at home watching the Tribe with her mom, Tara.
I wonder, she's not old enough to have a favorite player yet, is she?
Well, she can.
Depending on the folks.
That's right.
But she's soon going to have to make up her own mind.
Yeah, eventually.
66% strikes for Ubaldo today.
Right back up the middle. And
that was a tweener.
And it was, you talk about a ball that was right, literally in between Cabrera and Kipnis. I'm not sure, did Asdrubal get a piece of it or maybe just screen Kipnis from getting it cleanly?
Probably would have been an easier play for Cabrera only because his momentum going that way, but they had the right guy running. But it was just hit right in the right spot. The reason why I say Cabrera is because he's going that way. Kipnis with the backhand now, you've got some, It's one of those plays you just don't know. I mean, if Cabrera could take it, I think he would have taken it and made the play, and Kipnis with the back end. You had the right guy running, but another infield hit.
One ball, no strike. What are the odds? Jose Molina, 1 out of 100, he'll get an infield hit?
Yeah, that's about right.
Up and away with that pitch. Fastball. 2-0. Joe Smith getting loose in the Tribe bullpen. Here comes Mickey Callaway, the pitching coach, out to talk with Ubaldo. Coming up next, Indians Live, brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. We've got the highlights, reaction from the clubhouse, some analysis, everything you need to wrap up the ball game. Straight ahead. Tribe needs to record 6 more outs.
Well, right there, just a little stall tactic. Ubaldo, the furthest he's pitched in a ball game this year is 7 innings. He's done that twice.
Yeah, he's only faced 2 batters in the 8th inning all season long.
In Kansas City, he did go out in the 8th, but 7-inning start that was. Oh, look at this.
Aviles to Kipnis. On to Swisher, a double play. Around the horn, 5-4-3, a beautiful twin killer. Just what the doctor ordered for Ubaldo Jimenez as he tries to work through this 8th inning now.
On the short hop, a nice pick. He took his time to get Kipnis the ball. The relay throw over to first base, plenty of time. How about that? Now that's what you like when you're a pitching coach. You come out, you talk to your guy, the next pitch you get a double play ball.
Just like in the movie. Okay, let's get 2. Remember Robert Woolen pulled through him. Candlesticks make a nice gift, and I don't know. Okay, let's get 2. In there for a strike to Matt Joyce. Fouled right back. No balls, 2 strikes. How about that 9-pitch second inning for Jimenez? They're up on their feet, 22,748. The 2-strike pitch popped him up foul and out of play.
Well, the crowd showing their appreciation for this start by Jimenez here. They want him to get through here. They'd like to see him do it in grand style. If he could strike him out, it doesn't matter. Get one more out, and it's a fine 8 innings.
He's given them just what they needed. And the right-hander's 0-2 offering. Swung out and missed. He struck him out. Ubaldo with his 7th strikeout of the afternoon. His 8th shutout inning. And the Indians lead it 5-0. Well, Ubaldo Jimenez, 8 shutout innings here this afternoon. Lots of smiles, lots of handshakes, lots of hugs.
Look at the starters over there. Masterson, Kluber, they're all enjoying it. They're going to take their turn. That's a great start for him. There comes Mickey Callaway. Way to go. Look at Ubaldo, all smiles now. He should be. 4 hits. Did not allow a run. 7 punch outs and walked 1. Great start.
Well, I mean, when you think about just from a mental standpoint where he's been in the last 12 to 15 months or so.
Hey, just keep running. Let's not even go back that far. Nice start.
No, but I mean, he wouldn't be here without going through all that.
I know it. It's a dandy. They needed it too.
Carlos Santana pops one sky high on the infield. The second baseman Roberts. 1 away. The in-game box score brought to you by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers. Now Jason Kipnis, real table setter at the top of the lineup today. Michael Bourne, a rare struggle, 0 for 7 in the series. Nick Swisher, a couple of really good at-bats. Jason Giambi delivering some clutch hits. There are a lot of ups and downs. Everybody goes through their hot spells, their cold spells. Now, the guy I think there's legitimate reason for concern right now is Carlos Santana, because this is a month plus now. Now we're carrying this into June. And you just wonder what he's got to do to try to get himself back on track.
As long as there are no injuries, you battle your way through it. You play your way through it. And eventually he will come out of it. Nothing else you can do.
Vinny Pastano up in the Tribe bullpen. Michael Brantley, he's going through a little bit of an offensive struggle right now. Guy who's been red hot for most of the season, but just 2 for his last 20. Upstairs, ball 4. Jim Ingram of the News Herald had a really good feature today on Michael Brantley. If you get a chance to read Jim or online, News Herald. I mean, he just talked about how Michael Brantley he's the quiet superstar. He said he never says a word. He's the sort of the other end of the spectrum from a guy like Nick Swisher. I mean, Nick's got that huge, big personality and big smile.
Total opposite.
And Michael's understated, very quiet. He never draws attention to himself. He doesn't have any, signature move, if you will. Remember Milton Bradley, and Jim wrote it in the column. He used to rip the Velcro from his gloves if he hit a home run. So just quietly goes about his business, very professional. Two down here in the 8th as Brantley moves into scoring position now for Drew Stubbs. We talked about it, too, with somebody before the game, just about how Michael, and I don't remember where this term and how it became sort of popular, but, the low heartbeat thing. Some guys just have that, their pulse never rises, and it doesn't matter if it's the game's on the line, if it's the first inning, they've got that same steady, even keel approach, and those are the guys that you one-up when the game's on the line because they don't squeeze the sawdust out of the bat.
Well, he grew up around the game, so maybe it's different.
That's
too,
part of it, you think?
Yeah, I think it has something to do with it. With his dad talking to him. His dad was a professional player and played in the big leagues. And
I mean, so was Nick. Completely different personality. I mean, personalities are.
But yeah, right.
That is what it is. You're sort of born with a personality and raised a certain way.
We all know that.
He's infectious with it, and his teammates enjoy it. But Michael, much the same way, very well liked by his teammates, just goes about it in a completely different manner. Very understated, but he can sniper you with some comments. The 0-1. Pop back out of play. Tough day for Drew Stubbs. He's struck out on all 3 of his at-bats. And he's down on the count here, 0-2. Man, the 2-strike pitch chops this one foul over towards third.
Is that someone talking to you? What do you got, friends above us? What are they, hanging down on a bungee cord or something?
Yeah, I want to know if it's Miller time yet.
Yeah, we've already given Miller time. Your buddies.
Only the best seats for my pals.
Would you like me to leave? You guys can talk. I mean, I'll give them an inning. It's no big deal.
Got the euchre seats up in the top row.
Must be the front row.
The 0-2. Up and away. Michael Brantley in scoring position with the Tribe leading at 5-0 here in the bottom of the 8th. They want to go inside on Stubbs, and they missed off the plate with it. 2-2.
It's a pretty good pitch there, though. This guy's been throwing a lot of changeups. He's done a nice job since coming in for Tampa in the 5th inning. So maybe that pitch there may let him go outside with another changeup. There it is.
Drew strikes out. 4 Ks on the day for the Indians' number 9 hitter, but the Indians all smiles, leading it 5-0. Five zip. You let the Tribe on top. Indians Live coming up right after the ball game. Brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. Vinny Pastano on for the 14th time this year. 1 win, 1 loss, an ERA of 5.54. 13 innings of work, 13 strikeouts, 7 walks. He has allowed 3 home runs, but Terry Francona believes that Pastano is starting to round himself into shape as far as the command and where he needs to be. Ubaldo Jimenez went 8 innings today, made 108 pitches through 73 strikes. And we talked about it. His home ERA was over 10 coming into today. He had really been roughed up in a number of different outings, but he put all that to rest today with a terrific performance. Bouncing ball foul.
Nothing better not a better job in the world than being a starting pitcher when you go out and you pitch like he did today, and you have 4 days to enjoy it and get back into your routine and look forward to your next start.
And nothing worse than when you get bombed and you got to wear it for 4 days, right?
That's the good side of that. The good side is a game like today. The bad side is when you get roughed up early and you let your team down.
He's obviously feeling pretty good about this one, and he should. Kelly Johnson strikes out Pistano. Took a little something off, gets the strikeout. 1 away. Let's revisit our keys to the game for Ubaldo Jimenez. Pitched deep into the game. Well, he did that.
Longest outing this year.
Early offense for the Tribe. They played from in front.
Boy, Murph is, good Lord, he was right on.
He's the key master. Upstairs with it. Tampa Bay came into today having won 6 in a row. But the Indians have cooled off their bats with a dynamite pitching performance today from Ubaldo and now Vinny Pistano. High pop on the infield. Kipnis backpedaling. And makes the catch, 2 down. Two down for James Loney. It'll be a tough final out for Pistano. Loney has been swinging a hot bat. He's 0 for 3 today. Homered twice yesterday. Takes inside ball 1. Pistano comes set, the 1-0 pitch. In there for a strike. Better than 22,000 here today. Series finale tomorrow. Homestand wraps up quickly. 1 o'clock start. We'll have it for you here on Sports Time Ohio. Pistano with a 1-1. Swinging a foul over toward the Rays dugout and sent Kelly Johnson scattering. Pistano's 1-2 pitch, swinging a foul back toward the on-deck circle. Indians trying to join Tampa by getting to that 30-win mark. Then he takes a look. He sets. And the 1-2 pitch. A little bit too tall with it. And a count 2-2. Now the 2-2 pitch. Line. Foul down the left field line. And the count stays 2-2. Tigers at the Orioles. They'll be underway in about 10 or 15 minutes. The 2-2. Swing and a foul again. Boy.
He's battling off some tough pitches, huh?
4 or 5 straight he's fouled off.
And I mean, he's a breaking ball. He has fouled off a couple of those sliders from Pistano, fouled the fastball up down the line. So doing everything in his power to keep it going. And, you know, when you're a hitter, you hate to make the last out of the game.
Right.
I don't care what the score is. You just don't like doing it.
Pistano shaking him off a couple of times, and now Loney steps away. Then he goes to the back of the pitcher's mound to collect himself. He's thrown 15 pitches and 10 have been strikes. Try to wrap it around the outside corner and missed with an off-speed pitch and a full count. Loney awaiting the 3-2 pitch. And here it comes. Ball 4. And the game continues with 2 outs here in the ninth. And it will bring up Desmond Jennings. Jennings doubled his last time up. Runner takes off down to second base. Two and 0 the count. And now Santana's going to go out. Aviles comes in to join the conversation. He's got a 2-0 count on Jennings, with Luke Scott due next. Swung on a miss. He threw it by him, and it's 2-2. Did he go? They appeal.
No,
he
no,
did not. A full
no.
count.
Oh. They thought about it. Check it out from the side view. Close.
Now the payoff pitch to Jennings. Hit in the air to left. Back is Brantley. He's there. He's got it. And the Indians shut out the Tampa Bay Rays today by a final score of 5-0. They've evened the series at a game apiece. And the Indians are now 30-25 on the year. So are the Tampa Bay Rays. Ubaldo Jimenez gets the victory. He's 4-3. The loser is Chris Archer. He's 0-1. With that 8th shutout, the Indians lead the American League.
Yeah, I mean, another shutout. It was a nice afternoon by that guy right there, Ubaldo Jimenez. Beautiful, 4 hits. Nicely done.
Time now for today's key play of the game, brought to you by KeyBank.
Well, let's go to the second inning. They needed a jump start, and Jason Giambi gives it to them. After the leadoff walk to Switcher, it's a high changeup, a 2-run home run, and he gave them a jolt, exactly what they needed. That's the KeyBank play of the game, brought to you by KeyBank. Proud to be the banking home of the Cleveland Indians.
We'll be back with some final thoughts from Progressive Field right after this timeout.